Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Welcome to the Buddha Dharma TV Dhammapada program. Thank you very much for coming. And today we discuss the verse number 92 of the chapter 7 on the saints. We discussed, of course, not in full details, but to some extent we explained the 4 stages of the Arahanthood. The first stage, second stage, third stage, and the fourth stage where one will end up as the Arahat. Sotapatta or Sotapanna is the first stage. And the second stage, once returner. Third stage, non-returner. Fourth stage, Arahant, the enlightened one. And we discussed that, explained well the first stage, Sotapanna, second stage, Sakudagami, or once returner, Anagami, non-returner, third stage, and the fourth stage, Arahant, enlightened one. And when one reached that level, the mindful ones make the effort to keep their attentiveness always in trim. They are not at all attached to abodes or settlements, giving up all places or settle of living. They live like the swans who fly away free in mind. So that is the nature of the Arahants. So that's why we had to discuss the 4 stages, who the Arahant is, and that is what we got the brief explanation about the Arahant, that it says that mindful ones, they are completely free from all lust now, and they are mindful ones, make the effort to keep their attentiveness always in trim. They are not at all attached to anything, giving up all places of settled living. They live like the swans who fly away free in mind. So we now know who the Arahants, the 4 stages of Arahants, and also their nature, who the Arahants are. So that was what we discussed in the 91, verse number 91. So the 92 also continue, and 93 also continue of the same explanation. Yesam sannichayo natti ye parinnata bhojana sunyato animitto cha imokko yassa gocharo gatitesam durannaya gatitesam durannaya. This is the verse number 92, and that means with full understanding that nature is empty and objectless, the mind is free of craving and leaves no trace of its whereabouts, like the paths of birds in flight. So no trace of its whereabouts, like the paths of birds in flight. The birds, they fly from this tree to the other trees, but from this side of the river to the other side. Far they travel, but nobody can find where the road, the path they took, because they leave no trace. We will never be able to find where the birds who flew from here to there, how they flew, because they leave no traces. That's all, just like a bird. So those who are free from cravings, those who are free from craving, the mind is free from craving and leaves no trace of its whereabouts of. Just like birds who fly from this side to the other side, far, but leaving with no whatsoever trace of their route. So this is what is little bit more about Arahant. Buddha, however, also made clear to his disciples the difference between himself and the Arahants who were his disciples, because Arahant also enlightened one. But the supreme enlightened one was the Buddha. So Buddha wanted to clear to his disciples the difference between himself and the Arahants who were his disciples. I hope you like to know the difference, but it's better to see, to attain that level, and then you will see who Arahants. Then we can see. Huh? Yes, you can see. Only when you attain to that level, you know who the Arahants. That's what Buddha says. Your Dhammam pasati somam pasati. One who attains to a certain level, then you know, oh, Buddha has attained to this level. Yes, go on further. So you know which level you are in. So you know, oh, Buddha. So Dhammam pasati, you Dhammam pasomam pasati. When you reach to that level, you know Buddha has attained that level. So you understand. Then Dhamma there. Then you also say, you see, Buddha has attained that level. So I am here now. I want to go to that level. This is what the meaning of it. Yo Dhammam pasati somam pasati. So, Buddha, however, also made it very clear to his disciples the difference between himself and the Arahants, who were his disciples. They were declared by the Buddha to be his equals as far as the emancipation from defilements and ultimate deliverance are concerned. As far as emancipation of defilements. The Buddha said, O disciples, is an Arahant fully enlightened one? It is he who proclaims the path, not proclaimed before. He is the knower of a path. He is the one who knows the path, who understands a path, who is skilled in the path. And now his disciples are wayfarers who follow in his footsteps. Who is an Arhat, a fully enlightened one, from the disciple who is freed by insight. Sanskrit Arhat, consummate one, as a meaning. The worthy one are titles applied exclusively to the Buddha and the perfected disciples. As the commentaries reveal, the first application of the term to Buddha was by himself. That was when a Buddha was journeying from the place of Gaya to Varanasi. Buddha Gaya, where Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. And then he was journeying from Gaya, which has become Gaya, became the Bodh Gaya, Bodh Gaya, where Buddha attained the enlightenment, full enlightenment. Then he was walking to Benares, Varanasi, to deliver his first sermon to his 5 ascetics. On the way, not far from Gaya, the Buddha was met by Upaka. Upaka is a name, an ascetic, who was struck by the serene appearance of the master. First sight, he was excited by the peaceful, serene appearance of the Buddha. The first time he sees a person, individual, like this quality, nature, appearance. So immediately he inquired to Buddha, who is the teacher? Who are you, the Venerable Master? Who are you? Whose teaching do you profess? So, replying in verse, the Buddha said, Aham Satthanuttaro. He used the word for the second time when addressing the 5 ascetics. Thus, I am an Arahat, Tathagata, Aham Tathagata, fully enlightened one. The word is applied only to those who have fully destroyed the taints, defilements. Not to us. We cannot be far away. Once we reach that level, beyond the imagination, we can't even think of reaching that level. But to be a Arhat, yes. But to be a Supreme Buddha, forget about it. Anyway, in this sense, the Buddha was the first Arhat in the world, as he himself revealed to Upaka, the one who came, who met, who was impressed and charmed by the Buddha's serene appearance. That was Buddha's answer. Why? Because he said, Yassasva parikkina aharecha anishito. Yassasva parikkina aharecha anishito sunyato animitto cha vimokko yassa gocharo. Akaseva tapuntanam padantassa durannayam. Parantassa durannayam. See how nice it is? How nice it is. What he says. How? He says. It is the beautiful meaning, another beautiful meaning. So nicely Buddha explained who he is. So, padam tassa duranya. It's akasaya sattana. Because He said, the Arhants are also leave no trace when they leave. Just like a bird, Akasasa, who flies in the sky without leaving any trace to follow him. Which path they took, we will never be able to follow. No trace left. So are the Venerable, whose robes were worn out, was seeking material on refuse heaps and in other similar places. One day the Venerable was teaching, Venerable Anuruddha in fact. Now in the Venerable's third previous existence, he had a wife who had been reborn in the world of the 33 as the goddess Jalini. Jalini. You see, Buddha not only spoke about the divine abodes and different divine abodes and those who were living there, and also by name. You can tell the name, how they were born. This is the power of the supremely enlightened Buddhas. A power, immense power, a spiritual power. Not given by anybody, earned by severe meditation, committed millions of years in the past, little by little, achieved this power and developed. When he came to this time for final existence, he attained the supreme bliss of Buddhahood, and then he physically left this world. But he is no more, no trace to follow him. So likewise, Venerable Anuruddha, now in the Venerable's third previous existence, he had a wife who had been reborn in this world of the 33 as the goddess Jalini. When the goddess saw the Venerable seeking clothes for robes, she resolved to aid him. She resolved to aid him. A previous life, Venerable Anuruddha's wife, now she is as a goddess in a different world, in divine world. Now you see. Now she sees these things and she wants to help Venerable Anuruddha, who is seeking clothes for robes. She resolved to aid him. So taking 3 celestial clothes, 13 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. So it's not for one person. There's an immense heap of clothes. So taking 3 celestial clothes, 13 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, and thinking to herself, if I display these clothes in this manner, the Venerable will not take them. You see, she still can see the mind, his mental state. So she knows that he will not accept it, he might refuse. She feels that. She went to certain heap in front of the heap where the Venerable was seeking clothes and laid them down in such a way that only the hems were visible. You see, using a trick. Taking the clothes with him, he went his way. On the way and on the day, he was to make his robes. The Buddha, accompanied by his large retinue of many monks, went to the monastery and sat down. Likewise, the 80 chief venerables sat down there. Also, for the purpose of sewing the robes, the venerable Kasyapa, the great, sat at the foot. Venerable Sariputta in the midst, and the Sariputta was in the middle, spun out the thread. The Buddha threaded the needles. You see how humble Buddha, company monks, Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Ananda at the head. The company of monks spun out the thread. The Buddha threaded the needle. Can you imagine? And Venerable Moggallana went hither and thither, supplying wherever else might be needed. The goddess entered the village and incited the inhabitants to give alms, saying they are making robes for my noble Venerable Anuruddha. You see, 5 lives before she was a girlfriend. Now she is a goddess in a heavenly abode. And Venerable Anuruddha now is a monk. And he is not the ordinary monk. And he is there now. And the earth succored the hell, the chief of the goddess, do a circle about the place where they were making the robes. The earth was as if it died with lack. There was a great heap of food, both soft and hard, remaining over and about the monks who had eaten. Can you imagine? These things are beyond the imagination, but these are the things that those heavenly beings who live in heavenly abodes can do certain things which is beyond our grasp. Why? Because we have not reached that level. Therefore, it is common for the ordinary people to say, it doesn't exist. We have to excuse those foolish ones. They only accept what is seen. That's okay, not bad. But you have no right to refuse that what you have not seen, what you cannot understand. It is unfortunate to see those people come out with different opinion and say that, oh, I'm a scholar, I want to say that these things, these people, these divine beings do not exist, and etc. It's really sad. We have to excuse those. It is a pity. We have to excuse them. But what is important is to understand is, usually it's translated as asava, translated as corruptions, intoxicant, vices, cankers, fluxes, taints, etc. We translate this word asava or flowing in as influence that motivates behavior. 4 influences are listed in the discourses of Buddha. Tendency towards a sensual desire, kamasava. That is our tendency towards the sensual desire. So tendency towards existence, that means bhavasava. We like to live, we like to exist. Tendency towards belief, ditthasava. We like to cling to certain belief, even if they are not true, but still we like to click onto the beliefs because we feel that they are right, to my knowledge, but not in reality. Reality is completely different, but I stick with this belief. That is called ditthasava, and tendency towards unawareness, avijjasava, ignorance. A list of 3 omitting the tendency towards views is also found in the suttas. The fourfold division also occurs under the name of frauds and yokes. Though the path of extreme entry, the influence of views is destroyed through the path of non-returning, the influence of sense desire through the path of arhatship, the influence of existence and the ignorance. Buddha shows how to overcome the influences, namely through insight, sense control, avoidance, wise use of the necessities of life. Khinasava is in the one whose influences are destroyed. Khina means void, asava means influences. So khinasava means one whose influences are destroyed, or one who is influence free, is a name for the Arhat, or Holy One. The state of arhatship is frequently called asavakkaya, the destruction of the influences. Suttas concluding with the attainment of arhatship by the listeners often end with the words during this utterance. The hearts of the monks were freed from influences through clinging no more. Through clinging, no more clinging. The term asava would mean impulses, urge, compulsions, motive or influence. It is similar to the term tanha, commonly translated as craving. Tanha, I hope you all have it. So tanha is also of 3 kinds. Thirst for sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures. You all have that. Kama tanha. Thirst for existence. Bhava tanha. That is thirst for existence, and vibhava tanha, thirst for non-existence. So 3 types: thirst for sensual pleasure, thirst for existence, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, thirst for non-existence. So we have explained 4 stages of arhatship in verse number 90, and in 91 we also explained the position of arhats, enlightened one, and also we have explained 92 and 93 difference of Arhat, enlightened one, and Buddha, and the similarities of Buddha and difference of Buddha, why Buddha is supreme, unique, we have discussed. So these are all not in detail, but in nutshell. It is up to you to first you continue to read more and more, understand, and more than that, please try to practice little bit of Dhamma so that you can feel slowly, gradually, little by little you will be able to get rid of these asavas, desires, That is the path towards the final liberation. I hope you like to be freed from all these defilements and asaras. For that, may you all have wisdom and courage. May you all be blessed.